had to sum up what I'm going to talk about, I couldn't have said it better than this man here. So thank you very much for that. And it's such an honor to be here. And some of you might know that I run programs on a life without fear. And the thing I say to people is I don't do it because I don't have fear. I do it precisely because I know what it is to fear. I know what it is to be afraid and how that fear can limit us, either as emotions or as words in our head or what will somebody else say. So today I wanted to delve a little bit deeper in about 11 and a half minutes into what is it to lead without fear. And before I talk about what leadership is, leadership is about setting the tone, which is what I'd like to do right up front. So let's get on the same page. What's leadership about? Have you ever heard of the principle of the grandfather clock? It's a funny thing, and I did look it up when I heard about it, but apparently it's true, and we can try it maybe at a conference and each of us bring a clock. But apparently if you have a big grandfather clock in a room, and you have a number of other pendulum clocks in the same room, over time, they align the swing of their pendulum to the grandfather clock. I'm not going to go into the science of that, mostly because I couldn't. But it's, if you want a certain tone in your relationship, if you want a certain change in the world, it's up to you, it's up to us to start it. It's always harder to be that first match. It's easier for the other matches to get lit, but leadership is about setting the tone, being the grandfather clock. Leadership is about taking ownership. Now, we easily take ownership for what we want and take responsibility for that. But do we take ownership of our excuses as well? The times that we failed, the relationships that didn't go well, and what was within me that led to that. Leadership is about being our best selves. And I didn't say our prettiest selves, or the self that has to be out in the world, but really, what are we truly about? And leadership is about creating what we love. So here I am talking to a room full of leaders about what is leadership. Leadership is about following your vision, even if the fear says to you, you're going to talk to a room full of leaders on leadership? Really? But it's about following your vision, by being yourself and what you have to offer, and creating what you love. But when you head towards your vision, wouldn't it be easy if you just go, that's what I want to create, and there I am? Behind every vision, there is also resistance. And your voices of fear will speak to you in different ways. Every time you start on a project and you say, actually I can't really, or no, I'm bored, or I'm so angry with that person, how could they say that to me? The partnership is off, the deal is off. At some level, it's your voice of fear, it's your resistance talking to you. And that resistance will tell you how to be. And it'll say to you, change your vision, it's safer. So it may say to you, get real, really? You're going to do that? You're going to change the world? You're going to get icicles to travel sustainably? Really? Get real. Do less. Aim for one person. Don't aim for the world. Or it will say to you, do you know what? A 10% raise? That's not good enough. You want a 50% raise. Or else they don't value you. Go for that. Or it might say the opposite. Or it might say to you, you know what? Before you can stand up and talk to other people, you've got to fix yourself. You've got to go on a self-discovery journey for 60 years, and that's when you're good enough, after you've fixed yourself. Or, if you're also like me, you might say, you've got to fix the boyfriend first before you can solve any problems. Or it might say to you, do you know what? Don't change anything. It's safe as it is. Or it might say to you, no, stability isn't good. I like it when things are changing. They can't catch up with me. So change everything now. Some of you will experience it as not wanting to challenge anything, as me, the poster good girl, don't disturb anything, don't inconvenience anyone. Or it might say to you, actually challenge it. How dare they? How do they know more than I do? Yeah, and some of you might experience it as, not wanting to say anything, or actually some of us might complain. Just some of us, clearly not everyone in this room. But the thing is, resistance to what we love is absolutely normal. and it's a part of human nature. And this is how. Our voices of fear are essentially that child in us, primed to seek safety and energy, which is another way of saying all of us are seeking love. Because when young offspring are loved, the parents keep them safe and they nurture them. And fundamentally, that's what we're seeking. We want to know we're safe, we have enough money in the bank, we're not going to be hurt, and we're going to be encouraged, supported, applauded, right? So feel free for my safety needs, to nod, to applaud, to laugh at the right times, and make me feel, really validated and loved. So we're primed with these, but they're just designed to keep us safe and loved. But here's the irony of it. These same voices of fear are the things that say to us, I can't have what I want because. I can't have what I want because the clicker won't work. And it does. These same voices of fear, remember, it's the child in us. And depending on what that child in you needs most and how it speaks to you, it's going to say different things to you. And if it's telling you, you can't have this because, you're going to want to do something about it. Because you definitely want to have what you love. So, for example, if your fear says to you, I'm not capable, you know what, don't even try. Or if it says to you, I'm not allowed to be capable. My mother doesn't let me, my boss doesn't let me, my partner doesn't let me. It's their fault. They don't see the potential in me. I can't trust anybody else. You see, I'm always let down. People always do this. The world is terrible. Always. There's danger in every corner. Or it might say to you, you know what, control everything. Because when I can't control it, I'm not safe. If you're not powerful, guess what? You don't want to show any weakness. Because your fear says to you, I can't have what I love because I'm not powerful enough. We see so many leaders in the world choosing to follow the path of never opening up, never expressing any weakness or openness or vulnerability. Or it might say to you, you know what, I never have the resources, so let me just always worry about the time or the money. It's that holiday I want to go to, but let me save up more. Oh, and when I've saved up, I don't have the time anymore. And then I have commitments. What would I really love? I don't have the time or the money. I've forgotten about that holiday. If I don't belong, I'm either going to try to fit in, or I'll try to disown you and say, oh, I never wanted to belong anyway. If I'm not perfect, I must focus on making everything perfect first. Or if I'm not good enough, you know what, let me do more. Let me get more degrees. Let me fix myself. Let me show you more achievements, and then maybe I'm good enough. And if I don't deserve it, boy, do I experience that. Let me seek your approval first. Let me seek your permission first. If I know you're going to give me a standing ovation, then I'll come and do this talk, but you've got to guarantee me that I have your approval. So our voices of fear can also dictate our ways of being, because the voices of fear say to us, we don't have what it takes. And leadership is vision, right? But would you know the voice of your true vision? Your true vision is always born of love, but your compensating vision, that changed vision, that thing you must do first, is always born from fear. So that's easy, right? We're all familiar with that. Every time things have gone in your favor and you've been in flow, there's been a part of you that says, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work out, I'm going to go for it anyway. Do I know if they love me? I don't know. I'm going to do it anyway. It's not about what I'll get back. I really love this. I'm passionate about it. Let me do it anyway. And sadly, we also recognize the other side. Have you ever heard yourself say, oh, but what happens if it goes wrong? What'll I do? Oh, but what if? And what's in it for me? And what'll I get from the other person? So be very mindful that we have many things we go for, but not all of them are our true vision. And even our leadership styles can be indicators of some of our fears. There's no right or wrong answers, but have you heard about, oh, are you about people or are you about results? Do you delegate to other people or do you prefer to do it yourself? Do you tell people what to do, or do you like to always invite opinion and discuss and agree? Do you procrastinate like I do, ERAC, thinking that, if I wait 3 months to book a flight ticket, it's somehow going to get cheaper and somebody else is going to do it for me, so let me just wait and waste my time. None of these are right or wrong, but be very mindful of what the underlying fear might be. So are you a leader? I want to introduce you very quickly to a couple of leaders from our time that you may be familiar with. Just nod or tell me, shout out if you know them. Here's Mr. M. Here's Mr. G. It's interesting because we think of one, as the good guy, good person. But that same person operates from fear. We think of the other one as formerly the world's greatest villain. But he left. He got married. He adopted children. He started manufacturing jelly. So leadership isn't about good or bad or what roles you fill, but it's about recognizing really your voices of fear and your compensating vision, but actually growing beyond that. It's not a coincidence they picked his name as Gru. It's growing beyond that to act in favor of your true vision. So, some of you might know, I have a bit of a consultancy background as well. So, of course, I want to leave you with a bit of a model. And this is the so what model of leadership. And here's what it looks like. Anytime anything comes up, or you go for something, that's it. That's the first part. And that's the second part. What happens if it goes wrong? This could happen. So what? I have it in me to find another way, to fix it. And you know what? They have it in them too. I can't force somebody else's choice or opinion. That's up to them. But I must do what I need to do and be okay with the consequences. Because I can make it work and so can they. So very, very quickly, here's what it looks like. Every time you go for something you love, there's going to be a voice that says, you can't be cause. And therefore you must first fix yourself, fix your boyfriend, blame the others, whatever it is. And you end up with something you never really wanted. But the good news is, you always have a choice to choose the other track, which says, I can't because. So what? Do you know what? I have it in me. I have it in me to come and talk to you in 12 minutes with a talk that normally takes 40 minutes. And do you know what? You have it in you too, to take what you need from this. So what would I love? All I ever wanted is to serve you with my heart in these 12 minutes. So leading without fear is constantly keeping your focus on what you love, rather than giving into the voices that says you can't. You are not the authority. They already know about leadership. You're going to come last, they'll all be asleep. Nobody's going to engage. How can you do this in 12 minutes? Nobody's going to laugh. You've got to keep your focus on your vision. And leading without fear is living our purpose and empowering others to live theirs. And it looks something like this. If you knew that you could create everything you love, what would you do? What art would you make? What impact in the world would you create? What relationship would you create? What family life would you create? What lifestyle and holidays and choices would you make? You have it in you. So, leadership starts at home. And I want to leave you with a couple of pictures that take me down memory lane. That picture on the left is from my first ever ERAC conference. I loved it. It was magical. But boy, was she an awkward girl. The picture on the right was taken a couple of years ago. And you know what? I still feel very awkward and very self-conscious every time somebody asks me to pose for a picture. What am I going to look like? How will it come out? Will it be a terrible picture if I'm shy? Will they judge me as an arrogant Instagram wannabe if I pose? There's all this chatter in my mind, but it doesn't matter. Because leadership is really about allowing yourself to shine. Remember to be your best self, not the self you think you're meant to be. And it starts at home. It does start with you. Thank you very much.